Hi, I'm Matt Fitzgibbons of PatriotMusic.com. Just a couple of days ago on March 18, 2008, the U.S. Supreme Court heard oral arguments for the District of Columbia versus Heller, which is the first Second Amendment case that they've heard since Miller in 1939. And I'd like to make a few observations. First, something about me. I'm a musician with a passion for America's founding principles, so I write original, nonpartisan rock to try to inspire people to spend the couple of minutes it takes to read at least the Declaration of Independence and the Bill of Rights for themselves. I'm of the opinion that these principles are timeless and just as revolutionary as they were, and they're the reason why the United States has been as successful as we have been for 250 years. And the further we get away from these principles, the more problems we have. So if I may, let me read you something. We hold these truths to be self-evident, that all men are created equal, that they are endowed by their Creator with certain unalienable rights, that among these are life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness, that to secure these rights, governments are instituted among men, deriving their just powers from the consent of the governed, that whenever any form of government becomes destructive of these ends, it is the right of the people to alter or to abolish it, and to institute new government, laying its foundations on such principles, and organizing its powers in such form as to them shall seem most likely to affect their safety and happiness. This is, of course, from the Declaration of Independence, and it's a little book that I carry around with me that has the Constitution and some of the other most important of America's founding principles in it. What does it all mean? Well, it means that by birth, every single human being has certain, specific, unalienable, unchangeable rights, and that people form government for one purpose, and that purpose is to secure these individual rights. So America is unique among so many different governments in the world today and in the past, those that have failed, and those in the future, in that our Constitution grants or enumerates specific powers to the government and reserves everything else to the people or to the states. And the function of these powers that we give to government is to secure these individual rights. And to just make sure that they do only that, we have a whole series of checks and balances, from the three forms of government to so many other little things that are designed to keep government in its place. The final check and balance is the Second Amendment. Now, March 18th, when the Supreme Court heard the oral arguments for District of Columbia versus Heller, they released a transcript as well as audio files. So I listened as I read along, and the first observation I made is this. None of the U.S. Supreme Court justices and none of the attorneys made reference to the Declaration of Independence. None of them. It's amazing. The United States Constitution, our government, who we are as a people, is based on the Declaration of Independence. These simple notions. People all over the world in so many different languages can identify the line, we hold these truths to be self-evident. Everyone but, apparently, the U.S. Supreme Court. So my second and final observation was that all of the Supreme Court justices and two of the three attorneys all seem to acknowledge that the Second Amendment guarantees an individual right to own weaponry, which is in accordance with what the Founding Fathers wrote and spoke about. The question is going to be, what constitutes reasonable restrictions? When the ruling comes out in June, this is going to be the heart and soul of it. As a matter of fact, I think that Attorney Gura, who's obviously very, very informed on the Second Amendment, who was Heller's attorney, was probably very surprised by the fact that the court generally accepted the Second Amendment as an individual right argument. And I think he was over-prepared in that area and under-prepared in the reasonable restrictions argument. This is going to determine the future of the country and whether or not the individual people who make up the country have a final check and balance on government. And I'd love to hear what people here at YouTube have to say about it. Thanks for listening. Take care. Bye-bye.